Hi Shane, in this video I just want to quickly go through the steps that I used to create the links in the blog post that I sent you, which I hope you had a chance to look at. This is Crusoe, and each of these notes are my notes in Evernote. And I'm going to explain some things about Crusoe along the way, but for right now I'm just going to link a note the way I talked about in my blog post, and right there is the Louis C.K. note in question. Now to link it, you see that there's two buttons in the top right corner of each note icon. I'm going to tap the one to the left of the one with the chain link in the middle. Okay, I'm going to tap that here, and now that just simply goes down to the bottom of my screen, and I can select any number of notes that I want to link to it, and I'm going to show you how you do that. So I linked it to the Branford Marsalis note, so I'm going to search for that. And here's the note I want to link it to. Now, to link a note, I simply tap on the note in the center, just tap anywhere in the center of the screen. If I want to, see this button here in the top right-hand corner, the magnifying glass with the plus sign? If I tap that, it simply opens the note, and I can read the quote there. But if I want to actually just link it, I can just tap anywhere in the center of the quote, anywhere else in the icon, note icon. So I'm going to tap this, and it selects it. Now it just says the color of the link connecting the notes is white, but I can change that to salmon or blue or orange or green. So let's make it blue. I also can tap this button here in the upper right hand corner with the little note button, and that lets me create an annotation. If I want to say why I linked these two notes, I can just type that in there. But I don't want to do that right now. Whoops, I got it off blue. Okay, so now that I'm ready to link, I tap this button here in the lower right-hand corner. So let's tap that, and there's my link. Now what's cool, so this is where I'm at in the blog post. And as I said, Louis C.K. did an interview where he said that he found that when he was worried he was going to lose all his freedom in his life when he got married and had kids. And without going into the details there in the blog post, he simply realizes later that actually having kids and a wife freed him from some things that he thought was freedom, but really wasn't. And okay, so I linked that to the Branford Marsalis quote. Let's open that up. As I said in the blog post, because he said something very similar. He said, someone asked him if jazz is playing what you feel. He said, no. He goes, there's no freedom in freedom. There's only freedom in structure, which is a similar thing. And what's cool about it is that's really all I thought of. I didn't have I didn't do a lot of research. I hadn't been reading Branford Marsalis recently or anything like that. I just decided, hey, that's a good thing to link the Louis C.K. note. If I link it, if I pull out the Branford Marsalis quote, I'll see it again. But more than that, you see this in the top left-hand corner of the Branford Marsalis quote, or actually the top left-hand corner of any of my notes. You can see some numbers. And what that says is, in this Branford Marsalis note icon, is that it's linked to 5 other notes. You're seeing one of them here, but two of them. But the other 4 I'm not seeing. So let me just tap on this note. This is in my link view, and let's see what comes next. Okay, so here's some other notes that it's linked to. Now, I hadn't been thinking of these at all when I linked the Louis C.K. note. But here's the Kenneth Minogue quote I talked about. Now, this is a book I had read years ago. And there's no way in hell I'd be lucky if I can remember the book, let alone a specific paragraph to the book that ties in exactly with what Louis C.K. and Branford Marsalis are talking about. And then this is what I mean when I say that Crusoe really gives you perfect recall of these connections that you make between pieces of literature, whether it's a blog post or article or a book or whatever have you. So, and as you can see, each of these notes are connected to other things. But let's just go down the pathway, and of course I can go in Crusoe. I can go forward, I can go back, I can decide what path I want to go down. So, but let's go down the Kenneth Minogue path. As you can see, up here in the left-hand corner, it's linked to 8 notes. We're seeing one of them, the Branford Marsalis. So let's see what this path takes us to. And again, here's a bunch of other notes that I've linked over a long period of time. Here's I don't know what this is, Victor David Hanson. He's a writer. This is an article that he wrote it's a specific paragraph from a specific article that he wrote in March. No way I could ever possibly look that up again or remember it. Here's something by a critic, professor of English on Shakespeare. Again, I never would have. Here's something by Bertrand Russell. These ideas, these things, tie in specifically with the Minogue quote. And because Minogue quote is connected to Marcellus, which is connected to Louis C.K., they can all, it really does make sense that I want to see these all come out together. And here's that, let me just close it. I have to open a note. Again, you see a button in the top right-hand corner of the note there on the top, on the right, the Philip Reef, Triumph of the Therapeutic. I just tap this button here. And of course that opens the note. And there's the quote. That is perfectly relevant to the Minogue quote. So quickly, that's what Crusoe does. Now, something else I want to point out here. Look at all these note titles. They're kind of long. Evernote gives you 256 characters with which to create your note title, but they only show you a small portion of those. It doesn't matter what view you're in. And what I find is I'd like to use longer note titles that are more descriptive of my notes, so I don't have to open every note to see what it's all about. And what we did in Crusoe was put more, have the no-go icons big with a lot of information and to show the full titles. Also, I want to show you something on this side, like here's all my tags. And those two, I mean, look at it, it says 1828 Webster's American Dictionary of the English Language. That is a tag. And I tag when it comes to books that I'm reading, here's an example. A Little Manual for Knowing. That's the title of the book. Esther Meek is the author. So that's how I do that. But the point is I couldn't really do that just in Evernote because they don't show you, they only show you a little bit of your tags, so you can't really see what they are. And here's all my notebooks. Here's something called Paths. That's a little bit different. It's a really cool feature. It's probably my favorite feature, but I don't want to get into it right now on this introductory thing. I just hope, I just want to show you something. I hope it all makes sense. And as I said, you'll have to read the blog post first, but I think that's good enough for now. Of course, you can sort your notes any way you like. I can see the number of notes with the most links, notes that were most recently linked if I want to pick up what I was working on last, by title, modified, created, you know, those typical search things. Okay, that's enough for now. Hope to hear from you soon. Thanks.